Tomorrow there'll be 22 players that are on our team that were not here last year. Come training camp, there'll be 19 more. So we expect overall 41 new players on the roster from a year ago, which is a little bit more than a third of our roster turned over. Excited about the new additions, both through the transfer portal and through recruiting, and the ability to get those guys out here starting tomorrow. We'll have in tomorrow's practice, you'll see Jaden DeLora and Noah Fafita at quarterback, along with Jordan McLeod, who's back from his injury. Will Plummer's obviously back. Gunnar Cruz, I believe, will be back from his injury, full go. And Braden Jermaine will be there. So that'll be our 6 quarterbacks that you'll see. In terms of receivers, we've got Jacob Cowling is here on campus, will be participating. AJ Jones will be here, T-Mac will be here, Kevin Green is here. So you've got all 4 of those wide receivers joining our wide receiving core. Majon Wright is not just back, eligible, ready to go, ready to play and make a huge impact for us, as well as Dorian Singer is back, Anthony Simpson's back. So we've got a great crew coming in that regard. Tight ends, we've got 2 new tight ends here. Kian Burnett, Tanner McLaughlin are both here, ready to roll. Tanner's still coming off of an ACL, so he will be limited tomorrow in practice. Kian will be full go. We have 4 new offensive linemen that are here right now, maybe 5 at the end of spring ball. Still waiting to hear if one person will, if Jacob Reese will be here, or what date Jacob Reese will be arriving. But Big Jonah's here on campus, Grayson Stovall's on campus, Borjon's on campus, Jack Buford's on campus. So those 4 guys are all here. On the defensive line, we've got 3 guys that are all here on campus right now. Hunter Eccles, who transferred in from USC, Tia Savea, who transferred in from UCLA, and then Jermaine Wiggins, who's here, obviously, as a true freshman. Got 3 linebackers that are here already. Anthony Solomon is here. Anthony Ward is here. That's Isaiah Ward's brother. Isaiah is not here yet. Anthony transferred in from University of Washington. Anthony Solomon transferred in from University of Michigan. And then Jeremy Mercier will be here starting tomorrow, transferred in from Utah. And then on the defensive backfield, Ephesians Pricesock is here, G7 is here, DJ Warnell, transferred in from UCLA, is here, and Sam Chung, who's from up in Tom Brady's high school, is here. So that group of 22 players are all here, and excited to watch them run around along with our current roster of players that have all been back. The only 2 players you will not see at practice tomorrow, Keon Bars, Jamari Joyner will not be participating in spring. Neither of those players will be participating. They will be hopefully back full go for the first day of training camp. And then Davis Duvall will not be participating this week. We'll see where he's at after spring break, but he won't be able to be at practice tomorrow. Other than that, you should be able to see everybody. You should have gotten a official Arizona spring football roster. There are some changes in numbers. Wanted to make you guys do a little bit of work, so you'll have to check that out. But I believe we put the last names on the jerseys, so you should be good there. In terms of the schedule, wanted to just cover that with everybody. We will be practicing tomorrow at 3:30. I would say practice will be about 2.5 hours to 2 hours and 40 minutes every day. So plan accordingly. We'll not be practicing until the following Tuesday, We're in spring break. From the 5th to the 13th is spring break. We'll be back Monday the 14th in meetings, and then we'll be practicing every other day. The following week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, then we'll be going Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, then Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday again, finishing up with Tuesday, Thursday, and the spring game April 9th. So we have a copy of that schedule for you as well. You'll see on that schedule also which coaches will be speaking and which position group will be speaking. If there's a certain player that you would like to request from that position group, just bring that to Enzer, and then Enzer will make that executive decision. So if he says no, talk to him about that, okay? So Enzer will be making the executive decision on who will be speaking to the media, but that will be all up there for you guys, and then which coach will be going as well will be up there. So wanted to just kind of touch on that stuff. As we go here, just wanted to hit on a few things. Community service Saturday, we had 200 hours of as a team building Habitat for Humanity on Saturday. So we had 200 man hours out there working. We've hit 500 hours already this year, looking to get over 1,200 hours this year, 919 last year. So we're looking to get an additional 300. Spring clinic on March 25th and March 26th. We'll have our high school coaches clinic. As you can see, we have been revealing names as we go. So far, Coach Spurrier will be speaking, not Scotty, but the head ball coach will be coming in from Gainesville to speak. We'll have Shane Waldron, who's the offensive coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks, will be coming in to speak. And then we'll be announcing 3 to 4 more speakers here. We'll announce one tomorrow, one on Friday, and then we'll announce one on Monday. So tune in to Mondays. It should be great to have those coaches all here. We expect a very large crowd to the clinic. You all are invited. You all are invited if you'd like to watch any of that. Our entire coaching staff will speak at the clinic as well. So we'll be covering that, and then we'll be practicing both Friday and Saturday of that weekend. 2 nighttime scrimmages, one on April 2nd, one on March 19th. Spring game is April 9th. I do expect the spring game to be spectacle. I'm not exactly sure yet what it's going to be. I hope we have at least 15,000 people at it. Last year I think we had 7,000, so we should double it. I would expect it to be a lot of fun. I would expect it to be a good showcase of all of our new players, talents, as well as our players after being in the system for another year. Expect a lot of alumni back for that game. It is our alumni weekend where we've had far more signups than we had a year ago already, and last year we had 200 people, 200 alumni show up. Hopefully we'll be welcoming back some of our alumni that were able to be here last year, and I expect that to occur. We'll announce that here in the next few weeks, who will be coming back for that. And then finally, just want to say, as we're talking about what's going to be important here this spring, we need to get better as a football team. We need to find a way in every facet to improve. We have to find a way to make our special teams better, our offense better, our defense better. We spent all of last spring trying to figure out what type of team we want to be. I think we understand what we want to be now. And we understand what we do well. I think by bringing in all the new players, they all fit our system, and they've given us an opportunity that I believe will help us get good fast. How good, I don't know. Don't have a crystal ball, but I do know that we are going to improve in every area. I feel a lot better about our depth at all these positions. Obviously, quarterback has always been one that you always focus on, the fact that we can sit here now with 5 scholarship quarterbacks, that the freshman Pac-12 player of the year is here, that probably one of the most touted and best high school quarterbacks in the country is here, along with the 3 guys that all played for us last year. That's a much different situation than we were sitting in this spot 1 year ago. So really fired up about our football team, fired up about certain position groups. I think we should have a fantastic defensive backfield. I think when you look at our team with Christian Young and Jackson Turner at safety, when you look at Ciro, when you look at Stukes, when you look at Rutherford at corner, and then DJ Warnell coming in at nickel, and G7 being a nickel, and Gunnar Maldonado being a nickel, that's a very deep secondary group. And then you take Isaiah Taylor, who can play either field or boundary safety. Now you're talking about a group of players that I think those 9, and add Dalton Johnson in there at 10, Jaden Young in there who started for us. He's another guy that might be starting for us the first day of spring ball. I mean, you're looking at 11 or 12 defensive backs that on a team that was very good against the pass. Need to get our pass rush right. That's why we brought in Coach Nansen, Coach Kafusi. Expect to see that same type of production. They average 3.2 sacks per game at UCLA. They brought UCLA from 11th to 1st in total sacks and a rushing defense in their first year there. And I expect that type of jump to occur here as well. And then offensively, the entire staff is back, and I believe we should be a lot better on offense. So that is where we're at. I will do my traditional plug at this point in time. Buy tickets. Tweet it. Tweet it out. We need more people at the games. It helps every one of our sports. We have 21 sports. Football is the revenue maker. We need to make sure that people buy tickets and come to games. Not only is it more fun to have a filled stadium, it's more profitable for all of the other sports. It allows all of us to be able to compete at the highest level in the Power 5. We need people in the stands. Season tickets need to be higher than they were. We lost a lot of people over the last 5 years in season tickets. We need to get them back. Get them back. We've got 1 million people in Tucson. That means if 10% came to the game, we'd have 100,000 people, which we only see 50,000. So quick math, 5%. 5% of Tucson come, and we'll be in a good spot. So let's take it from there, and let's answer any questions you guys might have.
Michael, you're first. You always have questions. Thank you.
Matt, can you tell us what's going on with Keon and Tamari, to whatever extent you can, anyway?
They're both having some. They're both having foot surgery, and that's probably about the extent of my medical knowledge on the type of foot surgery. They're both getting that done right now, and should be back by tomorrow in terms of in boots, but they won't be able to participate in spring ball for a few months until those that fully heals. But we needed to get it done now. That'll enable us to be full go for the first day of training camp, which really is what we needed those guys to be ready to go.
What about Duvall?
Duvall is out for the next couple of weeks, just working on some personal issues, and we'll see where that goes.
The 41 new players, is that something that we're just going to see going forward with the transfer portal such as it is and that type of stuff? Or is that still a high number because your program's still going?
I think both. I do believe we'll see bigger jumps than traditional, maybe than we had a decade ago or 5 years ago even. But we also are in a situation where we had to turn over a lot of the roster. And we had the COVID year where you could play 6 years of football or 5 years, so you had a big amount of players that didn't count in your 85, so you were able to go over. So that group had to leave. Then you had to be able to find people that could replace them at scholarship levels. Then you had to be able to build your roster up. And then we were in a situation that, we won one game in 24 chances here. So we've had to do some things with our roster as well to get ourselves in the best possible position to get as competitive as we possibly can, as fast as we possibly can.
What's your approach with the red zone in spring ball?
Scoring it and stop people from scoring in it. We were terrible in both. We were last in Division I football on defense in the red zone, and we were last in Division I football on offense in the red zone. So we are going to start in the third practice. We will be down in the red zone tomorrow with one-on-one isolation rounds. But after that, we will be heading, we'll have 2 days in the field, and then we'll at least have one period, if not 2 periods, every day of practice between practice 3 and practice 14, where we'll be down in the red zone, hopefully for somewhere between 20 to 25 plays. And then we're going to work one-on-ones every third day in the red area, which will be 5, let's call it 5 one-on-one periods. And then we'll spend some time focusing on educating our team as well. You know, sometimes situational awareness is huge, and you get to that like 18-yard line, 17-yard line, and you take a sack on a 3rd and 8 rather than throw the ball away and kick a field goal. You know, you knock yourself out of the red area. Or it's 1st and 10 and you want to take a shot and get a holding penalty, and now you knock yourself out. So we need to be situational masters, and we weren't that. And so I think it's going to be a combination of practicing more of it, and then also trying to educate our guys more of the importance of being inside that 15 to 20 and getting 7 and not 3 or 0.
What is your thought process, Coach, on having the quarterbacks, as many as you have, 6 of them? Some coaches want to have competition all the way up until opening of the regular season. Some would like to just name their guy. Where are you at on that?
Yeah, I am into naming our guy. I would like to find a guy and name him. I think one of the problems you run into, even if you were to look back at last season and you go back and you reflect, you know, when you're not able to make a decision for one reason or another, you don't feel great about the decision at the time, you keep letting it go, and you're going a third, it ends up being 2/3 of your reps go to someone that's not playing. So you don't want to put yourself in that position again where the majority of your reps don't go to the starter. So we're going to have to find a guy, find him early, and build the offensive play calling around his strengths. And if that can be done early in camp, great. Early in spring ball, great. If it takes us a little bit of spring ball, okay. But I think we need to have a better understanding and a quicker understanding of exactly the pecking order and try to work in that direction.
Do you have a feeling of that today?
I might have a feeling of it, but not until we get on the field. Right now would I be able to speak on it.
Yeah.
What went into the decision to have one practice and then 2 weeks off rather than just put it all after spring break?
So what we're able to do is by us having this one practice, we're able to have a 20-hour week rather than an 8-hour week. So we're able to get an extra 12 hours of meeting time that we wouldn't have been able to do if we just kept this as an 8-hour non-traditional or no practice week. And then what we're able to do by doing it that way, we cut spring ball down to 4 weeks when we get back. And then what we're capable of doing is giving an extra couple of weeks of strength and conditioning in a mandatory form rather than a voluntary form. So we're able to actually double up. We get an extra week at the front end, and then we get an extra week of conditioning on the back end by having this one practice the week before spring ball.
So the strength and conditioning would be after the spring game?
So after the spring game on April 9th, we'll then be able to go 2 more weeks of strength and conditioning. And back to that 8-hour week rather than that 20-hour week. Also gives us a chance to let them study this playbook over spring break.
there a guy we should have an eye on in terms of, like, maybe we didn't write about as much last year, but maybe he's gonna catch our eye during camp? Or even
Yeah, I would say that, there's a few guys that I think we want to really take a guy like a Jason Harris, who last year came in but kind of didn't really find himself in terms of his body and his size, and has gained, I think it's close to 30 pounds. And really, now I feel we can actually, you'll see him as a pretty substantial pass rusher. He's someone that I would take a look at, where last year, there wasn't much to talk about. I certainly think Singer now has a whole other perspective than it was a year ago. With him being really coming into his own at the end. Otherwise, I think I'll be excited to see where Jerry Roberts lands. He's done a great job of getting back from injury from that Washington State game. Excited to see what happens with him, how quickly he can make an impact. And then I would certainly keep a real close eye on Trayton Stukes. I think that kid is as talented of a corner for someone so young as I've seen. So we all know the names that everyone talks about, the C.Y.s, the Jacksons, the C-Rose, the Jordan Morgans, Michael Wileys. But those are some of the guys that maybe are under the radar a little bit.
Is A.J. Jones really only 6'3"? He looks about 6'8".
You should see him jump. 40-inch vertical. A.J. Jones is, I think, 6'3", 6'3 and a half. But man, he's a special specimen. A.J. Jones is everything you ever want in a college freshman. He came here, he has not gotten one B. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I said it. Hasn't gotten one B. He's got an A in every single thing he's done. Has absolutely dominated in the weight room. Is on top of the leaderboard in almost every category, and does it with a smile every single day. And then when you see him, he looks pretty good. So I'm really excited to see what AJ looks like in a uniform, and to get out on the field with him.
Could you go through special teams and returners and how you feel about special teams?
Yeah, well, I think in terms of specialists, I would say they're all back, right? I mean, we know Loop is replacing Haversick, but Loop really became our field goal kicker the last half of the season for under 45-yard field goals anyway. His leg's continuing to grow. Austin Dorp's back. He's Pac-12 Player of the Year, or Pac-12 special teams punter. McKellar's back as a long snapper. So that area is pretty good. When it comes to our punt returner, be real interesting to see if Jacob Cowling fits in that role. C-Ro's been talking about that role. G7's been talking about that role. So we should have a pretty substantial tryout when it comes to that job. Singer, I think, will do some return for us. So that'll be fun to see where that goes. We need to be better on special teams. I met with Coach Pow. He's going to be our special teams coordinator. I don't know if I announced that yet, but Coach Pow is the special teams coordinator. He's not sharing any duties in that regard. He was the special teams coordinator at UNLV, was the special teams coordinator at University of Washington in his past. So he's going to be taking on that responsibility. We had 4 punts blocked last year, which is just not acceptable. So we're going to work very hard at that. We kind of felt like it's changed the game, 2 different games. Felt like in the San Diego State game, it felt like in the Colorado game, that we just couldn't get our mind right after that occurred. And then against Washington, we go ahead and block a punt the first drive of the game, and kick a field goal. So we gotta really work on special teams, and I think we're gonna have a great opportunity to be really good at it.
You talked about the return game last year. You guys didn't have any big returns. What is your philosophy behind the return game?
Yeah, I think we need to be a little more aggressive returning the ball. I don't know if we necessarily had not kick return as much as punt return, but the goal would be to get a first down. So you want a 10-yard punt return. If you can get a first down with your special teams, then you've helped the offense one series. We didn't accomplish that. And we need to find a way to set up some returns. We can't go after every punt. And on the same time, we got to field them. There was a bunch of punts last year that I think we probably could have done a better job of fielding. And that's what we're going to focus in on.
How would you assess where your running back room is headed into the spring?
Well, the best part about our running back room heading into the spring is that we're healthy. Where last spring we were a little beaten up. We just had some, just from the off-season program, we weren't as healthy as we are today. Everybody's in great shape. Everybody looks great. Drake Anderson looks tremendous. He's 195 pounds. He's gained, I think it's close to 17 pounds from his initial arrival here. I think he came here at 178. Looks great. Stevie Rocker's over 200 pounds now. Michael Wiley's up to 207 pounds right now. So we've really worked very hard on, raising our body type a little bit, getting a little bit more weight on our guys. We hired a full-time nutritionist, which has been great for our program. And then you have Jalen John, who's 216 pounds. So I think it'll be a nice battle between all those guys with Jalen and Stevie and Drake and Michael. But again, that's going to be a little bit by committee, and we'll see if one person can stand out.
Time for a couple more questions.
Is Jerry Roberts full go for the start?
No, Jerry will be, you'll probably see him off working on the side for the majority of the practice. We're going to try to get him involved in some individual, but probably more so you'll see Jerry involved in practice the second half of spring. I would say probably starting somewhere between March 25th and April 1st will be more of where he's out there with Patch.
Who else is in the mix at that middle linebacker spot then? He's out.
Well, you got Solomon out there, you've got Ward here, you've got RJ Edwards here, you've got Malik Reed. I would think that opening snap will be Malik and probably Solomon, and then I think we'll figure it out from there. But those are probably the guys.
Are you saying those would be the two on the field?
Yeah.
And what you have Eccles listed as a defensive lineman? Is he going to play an end?
Pass rusher.
Pass rusher.
Yeah, pass rusher. So he's what we would refer to as our CAT, which is our open side defensive end, away from the tight end.
So are you going the 4-2-5 alignment?
Yeah, we'll be a lot more of that, more traditional, where we'll be mixing in the 4-1-6, the 4-2-5, depending on if we want to be in 6 DBs or 5 DBs. But I would assume to start off, we'll bring in 11 personnel. We'll have 3 receivers on the field. They'll have 5 DBs on the field, and you'll see a 4 down front in the first day.
Malik's size much different? You've been talking about
Malik Reed? Yeah, Malik Reed weighed in at 226 pounds yesterday. So I love the way he looks right now. I think if you can get your linebackers to be between 220 and 230, 235 at the most, for his height, that's perfect.
What happens if there's a basketball game in the tournament that conflicts with one of the spring practices, whether it's men's or women's?
You'll have to make a hard decision, Michael.
Not for me.
Sheer will have to make a hard decision.
What about,
We will not be changing our practice based upon
Okay.
the basketball games.
what about with the prospect of women hosting in terms of logistics of spacing and all that with TV and everything?
I think we'll be okay. I don't think that no one's come to me yet and brought it to my attention that we might have to move around practice. My expectation is that we should be good to go. I guess I would say I hold back. I hold that 1% that I have the ability to move April 2nd's practice. That if we are playing on Saturday, April 2nd, we will not be practicing on Saturday, April 2nd at the same. Okay, Well, I'm glad we did this. Grab your t-shirt on the way out the door. And no leftover to the t-shirt. So if you need to grab two, go ahead and do it.